Hi friend, how are you on this June 26th? I'm Pat Sloan and this is my daily video where we have challenges and I show fun stuff and we have a good time, right? Yes, we do. And if you're on my Facebook group, that is Quilt Along with Pat Sloan. So say hi to all of you over there too. Okay, what is the topic? What is the challenge for today? It is show-offs. Look at your calendar. Show-offs. I am excited for this one. I think that this challenge or topic, if you want to call it that, I want to hear about those quilts that you are really proud of. The one that you put so much work into, that it is your show-off quilt. So let me just give some examples of what that might be. It might be a quilt that maybe had extra special applique on it that you took a long time to do. Maybe you did something with a lot of spikes and sharp points, or a huge paper piecing project. It might be a project that you did as a gift or as a community project. It may have been a group project, but it came out super gorgeous, had a lot of extra work. Or there might be quilts that you actually enter into shows. You might be doing your fairs, entering your county fairs, or you might enter quilt shows, your guild show, or national shows, international shows even. Okay, we're going to break this down a little bit because I think it's a fascinating topic of showing your quilts. The interesting part is that when I started quilting, you could not really see other people's quilts unless you went to a show or a guild, because the internet didn't exist. And then even when it started up, it was so tiny that there just wasn't much out there. It was hard to find a community, hard to find people like you can now and go share your quilts. There was no Instagram, there was no Facebook, there were some other things. So we went to shows and people entered their quilts so that they could share them, because that's the fun part, isn't it? It's so fun to make a quilt and show your friends. So showing your friends via a county fair or a big show is sort of an extension of what you just do on a Facebook group or on your personal page or to your guild. So there's different kinds of shows. And when I first started my business, I decided that I thought it would be very educational for me that I should understand what it's like to enter a quilt in a show. I am not a competition quilter. There are people whose business is to teach and enter shows into competition because that's what they love. They love doing high-level masterpiece. That's not me. But I wanted to have the whole experience. So I actually entered 3 shows very early in my career, and all 3 that I entered, my quilt was accepted, which I thought was really nice. It's not always going to happen that they're accepted because they only can accept so many quilts. They only have so much space. So what I found was fascinating was I was able to actually go to all 3 shows and see my quilt hanging, and these were national shows, so in the U.S. I did 2 in Mancuso shows, and 1 was in the Lancaster, Pennsylvania show with the owners before the Paducah people. The AQS people own it now, but run it now or own it. But prior to that, I entered in that show, and it was great. I could stand there and chat with people. So here's the truth. I stood and listened to people talk about my quilt, and they didn't know that I made it. So you have to be careful. You have to have thick skin, because sometimes people will blurt something out that they wouldn't want to say to you in person. You've done it, right? You've stood in front of a quilt at a show and go like, I don't really like that green. Why did they put that orange in there? So be careful. The maker might be standing right next to you. But it was fun. It was really wonderful. And I did chat to a lot of people about my quilts. And it was fascinating to see what the judges gave as feedback, because the judge's job is to find the best of what was entered. And then there's part of their second job is to give you a little feedback on what on your quilt they liked and what on your quilt that you might improve on to be able to make it into a ribbon winning category. And that's all it is. It's not personal. It's just what the criteria is and where you meet it or you don't meet it. So I really enjoyed that. I thought it was a lot of fun to get. And I have very thick skin. Nothing bothers me. So I took all of that as like, this is just educational. But the other kind of place people enter their quilts, and you do get ribbons, is the fairs. And I have never done a county fair. I've never entered my quilt in a county fair. I've only been to 1 or 2 county fairs. I spent a lot of time as a kid living overseas, and so I didn't go to any that I remember as a little kid. So as an adult, I've only been to a couple. And I would like to enter one. My friend Roseanne Kermis, that was on my podcast a lot, you know Roseanne, she's amazing. She owned a quilt shop for many years, and when she owned the quilt shop, she would have a booth at the Minnesota State Fair. And her company, her quilt shop, sponsored some of the prizes. And I loved when Roseanne would be working at the show, and then she would go out to see the quilts that were entered, and she would take pictures and share them for everybody to see what the quilts are that are hanging and entered for the county fair. So if you have entered a county fair, I would love to hear about it. If you have entered, a regular show, tell me about that too. I think all of that is super fun. But you also have, quilts that are special, your show-off quilts that are not entered in fairs, or shows. So tell me about those. Tell me what you made or what yours are. That's our challenge for today. Okay, so I have a couple goodies to show you here. The first is a whole series of fabrics that have come out by Riley Blake for the national parks, and they are amazing. So Greg is going to take the camera down here so I can show you. I have one of the panels, and these are like little, almost like cards, like playing cards. I almost think of them as like a card deck. And what they have is it's two-sided here. We'll flip it over in a minute, but I want to show you these. A couple of them that are on here. So like I used to live in St. Louis, Greg and I, so there's the Gateway Arch, and that is actually where Baby Lock is located, outside in the suburbs of St. Louis. And what else is on here? I didn't tell you, my niece works for one of the national parks, so she's a park ranger. So this is just so cool to me. So I don't know, about what size are these? Do you think these are maybe like about 4 inches, Greg? 3.5? Okay. So, they're about that size. Oh, Greg's got a ruler. Here, we're going to check for sure. Okay, I win. It's 4 by what? How wide are they? Okay, 4 by 3. Woohoo! So they are sort of like a playing card. So why don't you flip this over? We'll take a look at some of the others. I don't know if you are a National Parks fan. This might be some fabrics. I'll link them down below the video, so you can go see. There's different styles. Like here's the redwoods up here, and I love. Where is it?
Canyonlands.
Canyonlands. Oh yeah, we've been there.
Yeah.
And then where is the one Kate works at? Kate works at Zion. So if you go to Zion Park, say hi to my niece. There's Yellowstone. What is this one? This is Shenandoah?
Yeah.
I'm reading upside down. That's out here by us in Virginia. Sequoia. We've been there, haven't we? We've been to Sequoia?
Yeah, Saguaro.
Saguaro, I'm sorry, Saguaro. There's Sequoia.
Yeah.
We've been to both, haven't we?
No, just Saguaro.
Oh, it's just Saguaro, okay. So those all link you, because some of they have bigger versions of these. So you can get this in a larger panel. And then I think they have a map too. So I'm going to go out and look at that stuff. I got to get another few pieces of these. I don't know how to use this yet, because I think it would need to be put in blocks, or it might need to just be like a shadow. It'd be kind of cool to build a block around it and put them in the centers. So that is some of the National Park fabric. Okay, the other thing that I got in, that I love this stuff, and I don't know about you, but when I'm writing notes and I write, well, I'm not writing anything right now because I can't even hold a pencil, but I could write, no writing. But when I do write, we write lots of notes, and I like to have cute paper. And so there's all this really cute quilting, sayings like inspire, create, sew, eat, sleep, quilt. I forget what that one says. I think that one just says quilt under there. So these are really cute. So I'll link you up to those so you can find them. Okay. So I have one Q&A question I'll answer. That I'm going to try to do that on some of these videos. So I had a question about how to hang quilts, and maybe Greg can do this and show you on the red and white quilt over here. If he can just take the video up there a second and show you. This is one of my favorite ways to hang a quilt. Go up, up, up to show the hanger, Greg. Just up a little bit more. There we go. You can see it. So that is just on a curtain rod. Now I happen to put a hanging sleeve. So behind that is a strip of fabric that's a tube, and I put the top edge of the tube in the binding. When I put the binding on, the bottom edge I hand stitch, and then I just slide that through. Some people will use curtain rods that have the little cafe clips, so those are another option if you want. You don't want to put a hanging rod, you could use the little curtain rods with the cafe clips. So that is one of the ways that I hang quilts up, particularly most of my larger quilts, because you don't stretch them out that way. It's got a nice even, and they lay nice and flat. So there you go. So thank you for being here. Thank you for all the sweet notes. I have actually gotten my surgery date, so it will be Tuesday, what is that, the 30th, Greg? Yeah, Tuesday the 30th. And so I will keep you updated. I have a link to my website where you can find my shopping store, so you can use the vendors that I work with, help support our small family business. Thank you so much. I will see you online. I love you. Mwah. Bye-bye.